Your morning view. Welcome to your latest Manchester United news, therapy, rumours, all of that stuff. Welcome to United View. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Lone settings, Lone Ranger settings. Everyone was singing the Akon Lonely, talking about Phil Jones yesterday, talking about Maguire, talking about Wan-Bissaka. It should be me playing it. Owen's left me. He's gone. So that's why I'm late, because I didn't have a clue of what to do and how to do this. It's been so long since I've done a video all by myself on United View. So please be patient with me, guys. If I trip up over my words or, it's a tough time. I'm not used to being by myself. You know what I mean? So I'm sure you guys will take me through the morning. KG living rent free in D. Sherman said, I think KG must be in the chat doing a bunch of whole madness, probably, to be fair. Come on, Flex, you're late. You're never late on Sky. Respect the community. That's true. That's true. But usually when I'm late, when we're late on here, it's not my fault. And it wasn't my fault today as well. You ask Owen where he is. You ask Owen where he is. And he's the most reliable person ever. But I'm not going to throw him under the bus. It's all good. Back to basics, says Bendagoro. And good morning, says Boza Pub. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about this morning. As always, we're going to be talking about the deals that we thought were getting closer in terms of about 5 new players signing contract extensions. That's not a thing at the moment. Deal's not close. Romano's got a little bit of an update on contract renewals. Raphael Varane, the Rolls Royce, the Wraith, the Phantom, the Ghost. He's demanding trophies. We're going to be talking about that. An all-star game as well. Todd Bowley's spoken about an all-star game. I know a lot of people are against it, but I've got some views on that. I want to see what you guys feel about it. And Casemiro confidence is key. But let's get to the top of the show and the top of the order. Deals not closed. Now, this is from Fabrizio Romano talking on Court Offside. And he says, new deals on David De Gea, Diogo Dalot, Luke Shaw, Fred and Marcus Rashford. On those, he says, none of these negotiations are close to being completed. Man United will decide in the coming months. Many of these players, like Rashford, one of the club's priorities, have clauses included to extend the contract for a further year. So Eric Ten Hag and the board will soon decide how to proceed. Now, it actually is in contrast to what we were talking about a few days ago when we kind of came up with what we would do, with how we would sort these deals out. Me and Owen had our say on it, flexing KG, that would be me as well. Me and KG had our say in it, or KG had his say on it on Tuesday evening. And now what we're basically saying is that, well, what Romano's saying is that the club, it's not close, it's not imminent. Their club's going to give thinking time, they're going to sort it out, and no, there is the options to extend on it. And that's how I think it should be. I know there was a couple in there, especially like Dalot, where you're like, you could probably give him the deal now and they wouldn't be up for. The rest are a little bit up for debate. You know, the Luke Shaw situation, if you want to sell him in the summer, you probably just extend the extra year. But, KG was saying, no, I wouldn't do that because he'll probably just stay. Can't trust him to actually leave. Fred was another one I said extend to sell. David De Gea, that was mixed. A lot of people saying let it run down. Some people saying sell him. Some people say give him an actual contract extension and let him stay as the number one. The Rashford one as well, that sparked debate. KG said give him it now. He would just give him the extension now. It was a bit nuts what he was talking about in terms of what to give him, because he was just saying give him anything. But he was saying give him it now. But what is important from Romano in terms of a little bit of clarity on it, because I think our biggest worry as Man United fans would probably be how and when are we going to give these contracts out? Because one thing we know at Man United is the contract situation and giving contracts to players after not achieving very much in the game, giving bumper contracts, long extensions for a lot of years, and then being stuck with the player when we can't sell them, when it doesn't work out. We know that's been one of our biggest problems. So I think the thing that was most worrying me anyway on a personal was, when are they going to do these deals? And we kind of came to a conclusion that it depends on the player, because like I said, if you gave Dalot a contract extension now, because we need another right back anyway to compete with him or be better than him, whichever, probably both, you wouldn't be that mad, or I wouldn't be. But then if you gave Luke Shaw a bumper new deal and gave him a 3-year extension, I think the general consensus is we would be like, based on what? So it's good that we're hearing, in my opinion, that the club, that none of them are close to being completed yet. That's good because that means they haven't just made up their mind and they're going to dash out contracts willy nilly, um, without thinking, without any planning. And also, we need to see how these players do with Eric Ten Hag. We need to see how they perform. We need to see how they buy into what he's doing. We need to see if he even likes them. We need to see if he even wants them to stay another 3 years. A manager walking in to a club where he can't change everything is one thing, but then a manager being involved in where the club goes in the next couple of years under his tenure is a completely different thing. And I think Eric Ten Hag needs to get this spot on. And I was also reading something else that was saying that Ten Hag's quite involved in this. Ten Hag is spearheading that side of it, and he's getting more and more input, and the club trust him. So if that's the case, allow him to make his decisions, allow him to assess this squad properly, and allow him to come to the conclusions that he wants to come to. Because what if we just give the same players who've been failing for ages big contracts again? How does Eric Ten Hag rebuild his team? Look at rebuilds that have been done in the past with Klopp, with Pep Guardiola, most recently at Arsenal. You have to give the manager the time and the resources and the ability to make big decisions to phase players out, especially players that are on big contracts. Luke Shaw obviously is coming to the end of it, but has been on a big contract on a lot of money. David De Gea, probably highest paid player at the club, 300, what is it, 75 grand a week, something silly like that. So there's big decisions to be made. Marcus Rashford, come through the club's academy, big asset to the football club, hasn't been playing well, but something's in there. Do you cash in? Do you give him a better contract? These are all big decisions to make. Fred, been here from Mourinho times, has had a couple of contract extensions already. Do you give him another one going into his 30s? Like these are all big conversations and big decisions to make. And Eric Ten Hag can't make them off of being here for a few months and only have played what we played 6 games in all competitions, or was it 5? 4 Premier League and 5 games in all competitions. It's about to be our 6th. So he can't. I just don't think Eric Ten Hag can make them decisions now. So that's kind of music to my ears to hear from Romano that they're not close. Because if they were close, I'd kind of be worried. Let me know what you lot are saying in the chat. Ben De Gormo says, I really hope for the new ownership first. Then they take care of the contract situation. Listen, like KG said yesterday, it's not a question of taking the foot off the gas. It's not a question of out of sight, out of mind. It is still Glazers out. How amazing would that be if Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought the football club? Then we get, new people in charge of the football club, or they're under different guidance, and then they can do the contracts. 100%, I agree. Wayne Fairclough says contracts need to be earned. Show Shaw and Maguire the door. Good morning, Flex and the UV fam, says Abhishek. Some of the members are in the chat as well. Dilavas has got just the Owen Elvis emojis. And Makish 10 says, yes, Flecky. No one really called me Flecky. What you having that one, Josh? Flecky? It's all right, that one, isn't it? He says, nah. Josh says, nah. Only stick with Fleck. So sorry about that, Makish 10, but you can call me Flecky if you want, bro. Woomin says, Tats, that's false. The board blocked Dest and you turned on De Jong deal. Interesting. And Sim says the only up there were games when the contracts are nearing the end. It seems it for years. And have a blessed day, says Treble Lords as well. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people saying get Maguire out. Now, listen, he's on a hefty contract. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, unless we sell him at the end of this season because he doesn't play that much. But yeah, I think it's a positive that Eric Ten Hag takes his time. I still stand by the players that I said, though. For me personally, just to recap on that and to refresh on that, I would still give Dalot a new deal. I think he's fine. Again, and I don't think he's a player. He's not like a superstar player who's going to demand a stupid amount of wages, in my opinion, anyway. Sure, I wouldn't. I think it's time to move on. Fred, I'd move on. I'd trigger to sell. I don't mind having him as a squad player, but if he had more years on his deal, I'd keep him as just a little squad player and about the place. But now it's coming to the end where you've got to make a decision. I would trigger to sell. David De Gea, I think exit route. I think the next phase doesn't have to be now. I said what I said in the summer about I don't think it's going to be the main problem to have to sell now with David De Gea. I think we can address that problem of the issue with his feet and progressing the ball and starting positions and commanding his box. We can address that a little later. But as we can see from the first 6 games, that it is an issue. We've literally had to abandon playing out from the back, not just because of De Gea, not just because of that, but a large part of it. because the players aren't comfortable playing out from the back because he doesn't give them confidence, which transpires that they don't have confidence in him. And we just have to go long. And then from that, we're actually under pressure a lot from goal kicks if we don't pick up the second ball every time, which is the old school way of doing it. Hook it long, get it in a channel. Who's going to be the best in the air? When Elanga's been starting, he's got a decent spring. We keep going wide to him. Rashford's useless up front. Rashford's useless at winning the ball in the air. It's not his game. And Anthony/Sancho's not going to do it on the right, are they? So it's usually get the ball long and play off the second ball with McTominay trying to win the seconds. And that's not sustainable. You know, look, even Ajax last night, and I say even Ajax, we shouldn't be surprised because they're a fantastic football team. But they were, you know, playing out from the back consistently, weren't just hoofing it long. And that's at Anfield away. You know, Calvin Bassey a couple of times hooked it out of touch and wasn't quite there, but they still kept playing that way. And quite a few times they played out because that's the philosophy of the club. That's the ethos of the club. It doesn't matter what manager it is. So back to David De Gea, I would look for the exit strategy. There's got to be a plan there. He's on huge wages. So I get it. How are we going to get him out? We might just have to cut the losses and let it run down for free and then let him go. We might have to do it. I hear what Owen's saying because David De Gea is a player that I was thinking more of the positive side of, he'll leave. He'll want to go play. He won't want to be, second fiddle. But then who am I to judge? This is his career. This is the last time he's going to be on 375 grand a week. He's got his family to secure. I'm not saying he's not a multimillionaire because he is, but we don't get to tell them how to manage their money as people. It's their job. So how do I not know he goes, well, you know what? I will sit on this for a year because it's still 370 grand. And then me and the family will move back to Spain after that. He could do that. So I would, to eradicate that, he's it's not like, I think trying to get a sell-on value out of David De Gea when he's no longer the best in the world, like he's not in his prime, his best days are behind him. I think us trying to make not a profit, you're never going to make a profit, but us trying to cash in and get something for him might be at the detriment of him rejecting that. And then we're stuck with David De Gea on the bench. Imagine next year having a keeper on the bench, second choice for 370 grand a year, a week. I wish it was a year, a week. That would just be outrageous. We can't be in a position of doing that. Then Dean Henderson comes back. He's on 100 grand a week. Hardly kicked a ball, been out on loan. So, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Rashford, again, I would let him earn it. I would wait to the back end of the season. Don't mind him getting a new deal, but he's got to earn it. And who was the other one? That was it. Covered it. Smash a like on the video. Let me know what you guys are saying about that. Let me know how you feel about the contract renewals. Are you pleased that it's taken a little while and that it's not close? Are you happy with that? Or do you want it done and dusted quickly? Do you want it quick, efficient? But I would go more on the side of letting Erik ten Hag, do it himself, work out who he wants, work out who he doesn't want, work out who's working for him, work out who's not working for him. Remember, please nominate us for a category in the Football Content Awards. It's not pinned in the chat, actually. We're an absolute disgrace. We're a cheat. Normally on Owen's here, we pin it in the chat, but we will get that in the chat. But the link's in the video description below to nominate us in any of the categories you see fit for the Football Content Awards. The voting, I believe, finishes on Monday. So smash a like on the video and don't forget to do that if you guys would like to nominate us to be up for an award, which will be a great honor to get a nomination. And let's get the likes up, which you guys are starting to do right now. Second, got to talk about the Rolls Royce, guys. And this isn't me. This isn't me with an agenda. This isn't me just wanting to wax lyrical about the classic car. He's out the garage. He's been polished up. He's shiny. He's moving nice. He's been to the MOT. He's been in the workshop, body shop, everything. New tires, new interior. The Rolls Royce is Rolls Roycing. But this isn't me just wanting to do it for the sake of it. He's been in an interview. He's working with a new company called TCL that are promoting greatness and some stuff like that. La-di-da-di-da. But he had some interesting things to say. He was asked about the qualities of a great manager. He says, I think obviously the communication between them and the players is very important. Also, the message they can give us to the players, the confidence, the trust, all of this is very important. And he basically goes on to talk about how his demand for trophies is high and we'll try and win every trophy possible. He says the preseason tour that we had was very important in building the team spirit for this team. We are ambitious. We want to win every game. We know the Premier League is such a difficult competition, so we prepare every day to be ready. We will try to win every trophy possible. And just quickly to throw back to Ten Hag, which is what he said earlier in the season in a presser. about Varane, or in an interview. I can't remember which one it was. He said Varane's stature is immense. And in pre-season, we took the decision to build him physically so that he had a bit of a slow start. We are happy we built him in that way. And you see when the team needed him, he was there. His profile, his stature, and what he has won already in the past shows he can really contribute to this team. Now, obviously, I'm reading it with dramatic effect because it's my guy. It's the Rolls Royce. Oh my God. I didn't want this guy to be here. I've just looked. I've just seen him.
I've heard some things. I will not take slander. Did you community? Did you see what he was doing this morning? As my internet was not working, and I'm running around my flat with my phone in the air like this, trying to get 3G because I'm a member of this community. I'm trying to do it. I hear Mr. Reliable hasn't been reliable. Oh, explain yourself.
You're not supposed to be there in that box. I was reading the quotes, not looking at the screen. I swear to God, that was like a Paul Bear. I swear I just saw Owen. That was real ghostlish. That was real, like, you just pop around the court. I just didn't expect to see you here, mate.
I'm always nearby. I'm always lingering. Sounds a bit sinister when I've said that. But I thought I'd give you a hand.
I appreciate that, man. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's what UV's all about, you know?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's good to see. It wouldn't be a morning show without you, to be honest, bro. I was thinking that. I was saying that to community before you came.
Yeah. Were you?
A bit, yeah. I was like, normally Owen's here. It's not the same.
It's not really what you said, though, is it?
Yeah, but what I meant was, because what it is, I haven't done a show by myself for a while, so that's what I said. People need to just give me a chance to, get used to it. The lost my bearings a bit, mate.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. I've had a stressful morning.
Well, it's good that you got sorted. You're back.
I'm back. No, it's fine. It's fine. There's been a lot of swearing and throwing around this place.
Who's you swearing at?
An unnamed internet provider. An
unnamed
internet provider that happens to drop out about 20 minutes before you go live in the morning. And then apparently I live in, I don't know, some kind of like nuclear shelter because I can't get any kind of signal service in here as well. So even if this was happening as well, when I was trying to check in, I was saying, I wonder what Flex is saying. I could just hear, oh, it's a disgrace. I'm thinking, I was bouncing around this place.
Still managed to pick it up. Yeah. I was only joking, man. It's just a little jovial, joke with the community early doors. That's all.
That's fine. Didn't take it personally. It's fine.
Yeah.
Pride,
well, you joined at a good time, Owen.
What are we talking about?
Because you joined at a good time. Because as you can see there at the bottom of the screen, Varane demands trophies. And just before you came on air, I don't know how long you was there for, spying on me. But I was just basically about to wax lyrical about Varane and how great he is. And it wasn't just me wanting to do it. He's done an interview recently talking about how they want to win every trophy and they want to compete and how good Eric Ten Hag's been, etc., etc. So I was just going through the quotes and about to start talking about Raphael Varane.
Will he win trophies at Manchester United, do you think?
Say that again?
Will he win trophies at Manchester United?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to believe in Eric Ten Hag in the process, and I think we'll win something under Eric Ten Hag. I don't know what that will be in his tenure. Hopefully it's long, but I think we'll win something along the way. Might not be this year, but next year. But yeah, I think he'll win something. But what do you think about his quotes? Do you want me to read them to you, or did you hear what I was saying?
Can you read them to me, please?
Do you know what? Not the worst thing about it. Nah, do you know the worst thing about it?
I'm not prepared. I didn't think I was going to be on the show.
No, that's
and then
fine.
The moment I got it working, it started working, I thought, I tell you what, I could get everything up and prepared, but I thought, you know what? I have an obligation to the community, to you, to Josh, and I thought I'll show up here even when I'm not supposed to. I'm not booked, but I showed up anyway. I'm injured and I played. I'm like Marcus Rashford. I've been limping through shows. for the last 18 months, but I tried. I'm here. So what are the quotes? Wow, Josh,
because you were supposed to be here.
Let's not get into technicalities, Josh.
You were booked.
I've had a pain injection to get me through this stream. Yeah, you can't see the madness going on here. I've got leads all over the place. I haven't. That's a lie. But
everything
I'm
you're
here.
saying is a lie. I don't know whether this is you or KG this morning.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Hey, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
And the worst thing is
What are
that
the
you've heard me.
quotes?
You've heard me say the quotes, but you just want me to read it to you. That's what it is. I know it is. You just want me to read it to
do
you.
you know what? Because I didn't hear the quotes because
Oh, yeah.
I had Josh say, "Can you put the link for something in the chat?" And that's what I was doing. Always
Right.
working. Always
All
working.
right. Okay. Right. So I will read you some of the quotes. Varane was asked about what qualities a great manager has. He replied, I think obviously the communication between them and the players is very important. Also, the message they can give to the players, the confidence, the trust, all of this is very important. He also said the preseason tour that we had was very important in building team spirit for this team. Of this team, we're ambitious. We want to win every game. We know the Premier League is such a difficult competition, so we prepare every day to be ready. We will try to win every trophy possible. And then I just done a little throwback to Ten Hag when he was talking about Varane early in the season, when he said Varane's stature is immense, and in pre-season we took the decision to build him physically so that he had a bit of a slow start. We are happy we built him in that way, and you see when the team needed him, he was there. His profile, his stature, and what he has won already in the past shows he can really contribute to this team.
That's the key thing, isn't it? When they said about building him up through pre-season, they're aware his fitness record is what it is. Last season wasn't great when it came to him being managed from his fitness. And to be fair, a lot of players weren't managed properly when it came to their fitness last season, and Varane was one of them. However, you could argue Varane is more susceptible to injuries than others. So if he's not being managed, or if he's being managed the same way that other players were being managed at Manchester United, it's a recipe for disaster. So the fact that Ten Hag and United and whoever have decided that, you know, we need to manage this guy properly, it's already, you would hope, be paying dividends, because the fact that I can't even remember the last time he played like 4 or 5 games in a row for Manchester United. Honestly,
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he has.
But concern is what's coming up next, international break. He always gets injured. He always gets injured on international break. Fact. He always gets injured on international break. So if he can get through there, that's fine.
Don't.
That's
It's
fine.
true, though. It's true.
But
It's true.
my other thing I would say about centre-backs being injured, did you see who came off of an injury last night in the Champions League?
No.
Eric Bailly.
Did he? Actually, that sounds really celebratory. Actually,
It's
I was
not,
like, did he?
But
No,
it's
that's
not.
not.
But
No,
it just
it's
it's a
Did
point
he?
it's a point reinforcer. And but apparently, and again, this sums him up as well. Apparently, he played well.
Someone's in the mud with that one.
Apparently, he played well, and I think made a goal-saving tackle or block or something. But he came off injured.
Did he actually? Yeah.
He came off.
Yeah. Well, is he injured though?
He came off in the 63rd minute. Why would you do that with your centre back?
Yeah. Yeah, it's something. It's something.
Mm.
It's very, look, that would be very in line with Eric Bailly though, wouldn't it? Is what we're saying.
Yes.
And there you go. You know, Faz was riding out, wasn't he? Saying this is why I should be here. I'll wait to see. Injured already, mate. But on Varane, I think this has been a massive priority for Eric Ten Hag. I think he was actually higher up the list of things to sort / things to do / things to get his teeth into than we think. You know, one of the other priorities obviously would have been someone like Marcus Rashford. How do I get the best out of him? I think when Eric Ten Hag knew he was going to get this job or was going to apply for it, I think he would have sat down. And this is, again, I'm doing a KG where you lie and make up stuff, but it's like a hypothetical. it's like a hypothetical of what I think could have happened, because you can see it being true. I think he sat there and thought, okay, why is Man United attractive? Okay, cool, big club. I believe in myself. I've got a chance to change its fortunes, etc., etc. They're a sleeping giant at the moment. All of that stuff that's on a personal. Then if he looks at the assets that he has and what he has to work with, you go, right, I'm not going to get involved in last season because they've obviously had their worst season in Premier League history. But I look at that squad, I think I can get something out of Marcus Rashford. Definitely. Like, there's got to be something wrong there. Jadon Sancho, they've got one of the best young prospects in world football. I've seen that kid play. I know what he's like in the Bundesliga. I've kept an eye on him. I know he's a great player. I can get something out of him. Raphael Varane, I think he goes to and says, it's got to be something why he's not been playing. I need to put him on a special, fitness thing. That's got to be one of my priorities. And it was straight off the bat in pre-season, like he said, because we were worried for him in pre-season, man. He wasn't starting the games. When you looked at the training sessions,
Fourth choice.
He at one point, it looked like going into the season, he was fourth choice centre-back. Lindelof was definitely ahead of him, 100%. And then obviously you had Maguire and you knew Martinez. We had the indications that Martinez would be starting anyway with the pursuit. Yeah. And we knew that. And we was like, Maguire's going to start the games, which he did end up doing.
A
But
new partner.
I do think it was the plan all along. I actually do. Now I look at it, it probably would have changed. Say we would have won the first 2 games convincingly. I think Ten Hag is big on, you know, rewarding the team and going. If Maguire and Martinez would have kept 2 clean sheets in the first game and we won 2-0 and 2-0, he wouldn't have changed it. But I still think in the back of his mind, he's just waiting for the correct moment and period to phase Varane back in. I still think in the back of his head, he's gone, this team is going to be a better team if I have him playing all the time. I need to find a way of making him more reliable, because if he is, Man United is going to be a better team than if Harry Maguire's ever present. And I just think he's played it perfectly. Obviously, touch wood, doesn't mean he's never going to get injured again. Doesn't mean he's healed. Of course not. But already in 4 games, it's crazy that we've already got a feeling that this is the most we've ever got out of Varane already. And it's only 4 games.
You know I mean? And maybe he also thought of it as, look, you know, because if you get Varane fit and firing, I hate the cliche, but it is like a new signing, isn't it?
100%.
You know what I mean? And he might be looking out there at the moment at the options. You know, he signed Martinez, and he might be like, you know what, actually, in an ideal world, I would have got maybe another centre back this summer, but I've got Varane. If I can get that working, then who else out there is better? You know, there aren't many out there that are better. If I can get that guy working and fully fit. So, yeah, no, he's absolutely right. And of course, Varane, look at the title. Of course, Varane demands trophies. That's all he's done in his career is win trophies. Look where he's come from. Real Madrid for however long he was there, like nearly a decade. You know, that's part of the mentality. And Ten Hag said it after, I believe it was the Arsenal game, when he was talking about his standards that he personally sets. But he also said, look, there are people in this squad that have actually achieved a lot in their career. You know, exactly. of all the people that we sort of criticize at Manchester United, what have you done? What have you won? There are these players in this squad. Granted, most of them come from Real Madrid. But, you know, they are players that have won stuff throughout their career, and their standards are high. Absolutely. So, of course, Varane's standards are high. Whether or not he'll win trophies at United, I'm just very
Do you think he will?
I'm hesitant to commit to anything this morning.
No, you can't do that, mate. You can't do that. I gave you an answer.
I can do whatever I want.
Oh, can you now?
Yeah.
Can you give us an answer, please?
Will he win a trophy ever? How long do you reckon he's going to be at Manchester United for?
So he stays next season. That'll be his 3rd year. I think he might be 4 years.
Minimum 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Mm.
In that period of time, he will win a trophy with Manchester United.
Okay, so throughout his tenure,
I'm giving myself a
maximum
a flexible 4 years to get that goal.
That's fine. That's fine. You committed to something. As long as you commit to something, I'm here for that. That's not a problem.
Like I'm committed to this show, which I showed up, even though I was having technical issues. I showed up.
I think he's going to get Player of the Season.
That's big. You knew it was big because you looked down when you said it. You went, I think Player of the Season.
No, I don't think that. I think it'll be one of the new signings. I think it'll be like Eriksen or Martinez or something like that. Going to be a contender. Maybe even Malacia might get young player or something. I think one of the newbies will be, will be Player of the Season. You never know though. Could be Rashford. Maybe Rashford goes on a madness and just does well all season, gets Player of the Year. Could be Anthony.
Anything's possible.
Do you know what I mean?
Anything's possible. We're still in early days.
100%. Remember, guys, to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the United View if you are new, and remember you can nominate us. It's pinned in the chat for any of the awards you see fit for the Football Content Awards. The voting closes on Monday, I believe. So get your nominations in for us in different categories. It'd be great to get the channel nominated as well. And remember, you can join the UV Members Club as always as well. The link is always in the video description below.
So the Raw was out, by the way.
Is it out?
Yeah, it was out yesterday. Speaking of the Members Club, a new episode of Raw, exclusive to the Members Club. That was fun. It was a fun episode.
People really enjoy that. They really enjoy it behind the scenes. If you're new to it and you want to know what it is, UV Raw is literally behind the scenes of our match days, our content, just everything in between, unedited, unfiltered. Josh not putting it together with amazing B-roll and music. It's literally him just throwing in all the, excuse the pun, the raw footage, and you guys can just see what happens behind the scenes. And sometimes it's very eye-opening. That's what I will say.
Yeah, very eye-opening, especially when Josh was walking around with a massive bit of plywood as Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That was tremendous. It was brilliant.
100%. Here we go. Mardu says, actually, it's important to take things like this. Wow, you're a joker, Flex. You talk about De Gea being on his way out, one of United's most consistent performers and leads by example, yet you're happy for Marcus Rashford to stay. Wow, no wonder United are a mess. Fair enough, Mardu. Just on that before we carry on, I don't think that's why United are a mess at all. I think United are a mess because of the failings of people like Ed Woodward for 10 years, the Glazers, the crap um, the crap recruitment and stuff like that, the waste of money that we've spent on players. Not because David De Gea has been here for a long time, not because Marcus Rashford's been here for a long time. That's not the reason we're failing. And the reason why I said that I think David De Gea, we should start planning for an exit route is because of the way that we want to play under this manager. I was one of the biggest defenders of David De Gea, and I still am, but I can still call out when I think it's right for him to move on if the club's going to go in a different direction. Wouldn't you argue that one part of why we're in this mess as well has been sentiment, hanging on for things for too long, giving new contracts when they're not deserved, not going in a new direction when the right time to go in a new direction is there. That's also part of the failings of the football club. Look how long we kept hold of Ollie out of sentiment because of what he's done for us, you know? And I think with Marcus Rashford at the age of 24, if you listen back to what I said, I literally said he needs to earn it. I literally said, let's wait to see how the season plays out and see what he puts up. So, yeah, out of David De Gea and Marcus Rashford, I think Marcus Rashford's got a better chance of staying and becoming something under Eric Ten Hag when clearly we can see what he's doing under Eric Ten Hag already. And we're still saying he can do more. And secondly, we can clearly see what's happening with David De Gea under Eric Ten Hag, which is completely abandon how I want to play out from the back because you're not good enough to do it. So, yeah, just wanted to answer that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Flex.
Yeah. This is something I want to talk about. Next thing,
Yeah.
All-Star game. All-Star.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be against this. Let's just go with the quotes first and let
Look at that picture of Todd.
Oh, let me have a look. I haven't seen it. That's really like just graduated. Like
corporate,
of the fraternity.
Businessman. Corporate businessman. Really white teeth, a little bit of a floppy hair at the front. Tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's proper stereotypical. He said this, ultimately, I hope the Premier League takes a little bit of a lesson out of the American sports teams and really start to think about why we don't do a tournament with the bottom 4 teams. That was the first bit. People are talking about why we don't have more money in the pyramid. Major League Baseball did their All-Star game this year. They made 200 million from a Monday and a Tuesday. You could do a North versus South All-Star game from the Premier League to fund the pyramid very easily. So he's also talking about there should be a tournament with the bottom 4 teams to decide relegation. So like a playoff. Would you want to see that? And also the All-Star game as well. What's your thoughts on an All-Star game, Owen? And you guys get involved in the chat as well.
Don't like it, to be honest. I don't. Okay. I agree with what Klopp was saying. He got asked about it last night after the Champions League game, and he said, okay, when on earth would we play that? Like, first of all, logistically, when would we play that? You know, we're talking about how we struggle for fixtures anyway. I understand the season's a little bit different, but there's always practically some kind of, feels like a summer tournament going on, whatever. You know, we've got this whole thing with the Nations League as well. That basically gets played throughout the entirety of the summer, even when when a European Championship or World Cup isn't on. So I don't know when we would play it. And two, wasn't with the thing with the Super League, the reason why that essentially got called off is because that was, and again, no disrespect to American football fans, but it was Americanization of English football, wasn't it? It was going to a closed system, a closed shop. Relegations didn't matter or didn't count, and we've heard this before, haven't we? Of sometimes with overseas ownership coming from, say, the States, where it's more of a franchise model, they'll come in and they don't really understand or can't wrap their heads around like the relegation concept or sort of the more traditional concepts of British football, European football, and I don't see from the point when they're going, he says, it could generate 200 million pounds that could be put into the Premier League pyramid. But they always mask it by that, don't they? They always mask it by, we'd be generating money to put into the pyramid, or we'd be making money to be doing this, to be doing that. And it's never really the case. It's about making money for themselves, isn't it? And I mean, I know you feel a bit different, but, with the All-Star game, what are your thoughts on it? For me, I'm just like, well, how would we do it? And two, I mean, look, if it was a thing where it was like, I think Ed T says it in the chat there. If it was in a preseason thing, right? If it was in preseason and it's just part of a tour, you go, all right, okay, fair enough, right? But we're talking about possibly, during the end, some part of the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
my thing is that I'm not completely closed off to it. I've got reservations about who's proposing it and how they would want to do it and what the real intentions are behind it. That's my first thing. I'm not opposed to it because I think if it's done right, you could raise an awful lot of money for great causes. And this is the thing that, like, if it's done right. Obviously, if it's just money grabbing, and that's what I do question the motive and who benefits from this. I do. So that's my concern of why I don't think it can work. But if I could paint a picture of how it could work and why it could work, imagine you made everyone would want to go and watch that game. Even if you're an old school football fan where you don't watch it and you don't care about it, they would sell out a stadium with North versus South. Players combine of, so North would be Man United, Man City, Liverpool. The Midlands is a bit weird, but let's just put them in North because whatever, just for argument's sake, Aston Villa, Wolves, whatever. Down south, obviously all the London clubs, Bournemouth, whatever, whoever else, yeah. Like people would watch the game. It would be a great spectacle. They'd sell out stadiums. So imagine if we could paint a perfect picture of that would raise money for various different charities, children's things, people with illness, whatever the charities are, or back into the football pyramid to help, the teams lower down, still recovering from COVID, whatever it is. I'm not naive enough to think that there isn't some greed behind this, and that's what worries me about it. Why I don't think it should go ahead, because I don't think the people who would be responsible, I don't trust the Premier League or some owners to be like, right, because really, I think apart from the money it costs to put on the event, all the proceeds made, all profits should go to, children's homes or, people who are ill or whatever charities it could be. That would be amazing for me. And if it did happen in pre-season, I don't see the issue. If they could put it in different countries each year, move the All-Star game around all year, every year, and you could have it in pre-season. I get it. There is a lot of stuff going on during the season. You can't entertain that. You can't have it during the season. And at the end of the season, when everyone's just finished being tired and it's been a grueling season, the last thing you want is to have to go away and play a game. Like what Ajax did that, didn't they? Some teams do go away on a
But even with that, if you're saying if it was in pre-season and different countries host it, could you imagine like Man United, for instance, this year have a tour of Australia, and then they go at the end of that, they go, oh, by the way, we need some of your players to fly out to.
No, before
that.
Yeah,
before.
That. So, or they keep it, or to be fair, actually, forget moving it all around. You keep it in England. Make it at Wembley. It's 90,000 every time. That would sell out. Look what Soccer Aid does. Look at Soccer Aid and that's celebrities who can't even play football properly, can't even run. And that's a great spectacle, and it makes millions of pounds every year.
Do you think the clubs would be willing to do it? I.e., like, what happens if one of their players gets injured? What if
that's the sticking points? Contracts. You know what I mean? You get injured. You get injured in the preseason All-Star game, and then you can't play in preseason. Then you do your ACL. But but again, there's flip sides of everything, really, isn't there? Because I know we don't want to Americanize our sport, and we want to keep our sport as it is, and we don't really want a lot of change in it. I get that. I'm guilty of that. I'm like, just leave it how it is. It's always been like this. Just leave it. Sometimes things do have to evolve, and you do look at American sports. Basketball players. You know how often they play? They've got
it's outrageous, isn't it? Yeah, their schedule is
stupid,
ridiculous. Yeah.
And they have the All-Star game during the season. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying do it during the season, but I'm saying they're highly tuned athletes. Of course, one of them can get injured. And look, it is very slow pay. Like, it is an exhibition we're talking about. They're doing little tricks and flicks and having a laugh. And, when they actually get together, you get some of the best content together. When you get like LeBron mixing it up with flipping Giannis and KD and Steph Curry, and they're all in one thing and all having a laugh and stuff. It's quite a big thing, and I get it. It's a different culture, in it. We don't want to see Man United and Liverpool players high-fiving and.
I was going to say, do you think it ends? Do you think it also as well tribalism? How that works? You know what I mean? Like,
it'd be Harry Kane literally chilling with Bukayo Saka, and if you want to see that in England duty, people get a little bit funny about it. So,
but they go because it's England. We're all sort of thing. Whereas with this, and can you imagine, like, for instance, say last season, right? If any Manchester United players were in an all-star game,
Yeah.
and the fan base would be livid. They'd be like,
Off the back of what we've had.
yeah, you know what I mean? It just, I
It's
mean,
true.
I don't disagree with parts of what he's saying, where he says, actually, we can learn some things from American sport, because I do think so. I think certain aspects of American sport are run well, in terms, especially like the sports science side of things and the data analysis side of things, and certain aspects of things have run well. But referees, as well. There are aspects you can learn from it, but like when you start getting into possibly bottom 4 teams playing each other in a playoff, I know
let's go to that. What do you think of that bit?
Well, I know that other leagues do that around the world. I think it's in Germany they do that. I think, don't they? I think in Scotland they do that. But you have to. Why sometimes you're trying to fundamentally change the wheel? The wheel's been around for ages. It works. You know. It's always the concern, isn't it? And the thing is, you do hear this a lot, where people buy in to clubs in the Premier League, regardless of really of where they're from, and they've always got sweeping changes they want to make, but ultimately, over time, it goes no.
Yeah, and I think that will happen. I think that will happen. That's true. But I can see why it won't go on. I can see why it's a thing. I can see why people wouldn't want it to happen. And culturally, it's not the same. Culturally, it is really difficult to do that here. Football in this country is just so tribal. And I agree. Would I be happy seeing Raphael Varane, high-fiving Van Dijk and playing alongside him with, I don't know, bloody Kieran Tierney left back and right back with Kyle Walker, and and they're all, I don't know. It would be off, especially if my team has had a shit season and not won nothing, and then the next time you see them in action is kind of high-fiving with the rivals against. I know that would be North South, so it wouldn't be on our team, but you get my what I mean. So I get why it won't happen in this country. I do. I don't think it will happen, but I wasn't completely close to it. I like it. But I'm quite a big fan of the NBA, and I'm a big fan of the All-Star game. But I suppose I can't just think that means it's transferable to our game, because it isn't. So yeah. I don't think it will happen. I think the chat is pretty much saying that as well. Really, is the chat? What's everyone saying? Basically, picking players from City and Liverpool for North, Spurs and Chelsea from the South, and Arsenal. Isn't Bowley suggesting an alternative to the Super League, which everyone protested? Yeah, I read a little bit on that. Definitely don't obviously endorse that. Noted, Ted Lasso. And if you want England to win, the players must get on. No other nation have the issues. They're together. Yeah, basically that we need it. So there is a poll in the chat now of would you support a Premier League All-Star game? I think I know which way that's going to go. I think that will be strongly in no straight away. It's no racing out in front, 75% to 25%. Smash a like on the video as always, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Casemiro, confidence is key. Some quotes on Casemiro, because we need to talk about him. Hopefully we'll see whether we'll see whether he starts. We will see whether he starts tomorrow and what happens. Some of the quotes he's been saying to Man United in-house interview. He says, on the City, people tell me a lot about it, like where the best restaurants are. I'm someone who likes to stay at home and relax with my family. I'm doing really well, and I'm very happy to be here. The coaching team always explaining things to me clearly. Excuse me. I'm doing really well, and I'm very happy. It's great, really good, a really friendly club where I feel comfortable. I've been made to feel comfortable here from the first day. I'm really happy with my teammates. They're always helping me. And just quickly on Anthony, he said he played with us in Brazil. It's always important to have players of Anthony's level, not just him. We have a lot of top quality players. So basically the general consensus that he, I read from it that, he wants to feel happy in his surroundings. He feels happy with what's happened to him so far. He's been made to feel comfortable. He's calm about the situation. Didn't talk too much about how his start's been. Probably a bit too early to ask him, how do you think you started? But in terms of family life, he wants to keep it quiet, keep it simple, Fleck. And he wants to build that confidence through feeling comfortable.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you would always say, like, what's he going to say? You wouldn't say 3 weeks in, I hate it here. It's But I think Casemiro is a really interesting one. Obviously, look, we're about just over 24 hours away from that Europa League game. And it has become one of the sort of, I guess, bigger stories going into it, isn't it? Of what is going to happen with that starting 11, considering we know that it's going to be a really strong starting 11 as well. We hope it is going to be. It's going to be interesting to see if Casemiro starts. I mean, ultimately, when it comes to Casemiro as well, as a long-term option for Manchester United, you would think in 3 or 4 months' time, we'll be going, oh yeah, Casemiro started pretty much every game for Manchester United for the last 2 months or whatever. But it's just an interesting point of time at the moment, isn't it? Of how does he get his way into that starting 11? And it is going to take some time for him to adjust. I saw what KG was saying last night on the Flex and KG show, when he was saying, it's just time to adjust, time to get used to his teammates, etc., etc. So look, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, obviously, everyone wants him to be a success. We've paid a lot of money for a guy. Was it one of the third or fourth highest fee for someone over 30 ever? Mm. So, he hasn't come just to be a rotational option. So I have to wait and see.
Just quickly, coming through from Simon Stone, Samuel Luckhurst, etc. This latest update on the Manchester United squad that are doing an open training session this morning. So the media are obviously present. Marcus Rashford, Donny van de Beek, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are not present at Man United training this morning. And Samuel Luckhurst also chimes in and says no Rashford in training again after he missed the Sociedad game. So 3 injuries there. Just on Rashford, I mean, did come off, did look a bit, what was it? Yeah, it was Arsenal, wasn't it? Bit of a hamstring. He looked a bit tight.
He's feeling his hamstring when it came off. And then when he didn't play against Sociedad, we just assumed a bit of a twinge. He'll be back for the weekend. But looks like if that match was on, he probably wouldn't have played against Palace. Or the last thing we want with Rashford once again is to be playing through that injury barrier, especially with a hamstring. You don't risk hamstrings.
Exactly. So again, for Rashford, though, the 2 weeks that we're going to have off, 20 days, longer, 20 days until we play City. I think it isn't 20 days now. It was back then. But yeah, the couple of weeks we're going to have off now, it's probably come at a good time to try and get Martial back fit. And obviously here with Rashford, seeing what's going on there. Wan-Bissaka's been an interesting one. I think after maybe having some time off for bereavement, potentially, we haven't got clarification on that in terms of when he got injured or anything like that. Luke Shaw, we haven't had a definitive word on. Van de Beek. So hopefully in the presser today, and especially with Marcus Rashford missing now, I think they're definitely going to ask about injuries to see what's happening there, because we need to see what's happening with our players. They seem to be quite injured at the moment, a few of them. So yeah, just a quick update on that. If you're just joining us, there is no Wan-Bissaka, Donny van de Beek, or Marcus Rashford in training. Yes, that was the Casemiro situation. We finished that. So we come to the end of the video, guys. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We will be live later on with a press conference reaction. Not sure when that's going to be, actually. I don't know if it's at 1:30 yet. I'm trying to get some clarification on when the press conference is going to be. But whenever it's going to be, we'll be live with that as well. And this evening, we will have a preview for the game tomorrow as well. So smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Remember, the link in the video description is always below, where you can join the UV Members Club if you want to. You can nominate us. It's pinned in the chat for a category in the Football Content Awards as well. So make sure you do that if you want to nominate us. It'd be great to get a nomination in this year's Football Content Awards as well. See you all again very shortly this afternoon, guys. Peace. Maybe not.